Tell me about the night your dad was killed.
No comment.
Stacey, you were found covered in his blood. And your brother's fingerprints are all over the murder weapon. I don't think you've got much scope to no comment the interview, do you?
No comment.
Come on, Stacey, I know you're scared. But how can we help you if you don't tell us anything? Did your brother force you to do this?
No comment.
Why are you protecting him, Stacey? We know it's him. He's been in and out of prison all his life. He's caused your family nothing but trouble. And now you're going to go down for murder through some sort of misplaced loyalty. Interview terminated.
You haven't got a clue, have you?
Sorry, I don't follow.
You're so sure Danny is this horrible person that you don't see what's actually going on, do you?
I still don't follow.
Of course you don't. Do you know what it's like to live in fear of the person that's supposed to take care of you? Do you know what it feels like to love someone and instead of love in return, you get a beating with a wet tea towel because it was raining and he got wet on his way home from the pub? I remember when I was 10, I had this dance competition and all the other girls were hoping that their dads were going to be there to watch them. Do you know what I was hoping for?
I don't know.
I was hoping that my dad had accidentally stumbled into some traffic on his way home from the pub. Or that maybe this time, when he fell asleep in a pool of his own sick, that he'd actually choked. I cried the whole way home. I felt so guilty. And instead of comfort, I got a beating because he'd lost his football bet. He didn't even ask me how the competition went. I got first place.
What happened on the night of the murder, Stacey?
It was my little girl's birthday. Danny was getting the table ready, putting crisps into bowls, and Dad had gone out to get a birthday cake. After a few hours, I realised he wasn't coming home with a birthday cake. I was furious. He'd ruined my daughter's birthday. When he finally did get back, he was different somehow. He's normally stumbling about and aggressive, but he was laughing. I don't know, jolly, almost. That made me more upset because it was like he didn't even care.
What happened next?
I confronted him about it.
How? How did you confront him?
I asked him where he'd been. He said the pub. I said, your granddaughter has been in tears because all she wanted was a birthday cake and her granddad, and you couldn't even manage that. He laughed it off. He said she'll have plenty more. It's not like it was the only birthday she was going to have.
Did you react to that?
That made me so angry. I lost my temper. I told him he was a failure and that he wasn't going to ruin her life like he'd ruined mine. Then it was like a switch had been flipped or something. The next thing I know, his hands are around my neck, squeezing. I tried to get him off, but I couldn't breathe. I felt like my head was going to burst. I could just make out Danny's figure stood behind him, screaming, "Get off her!" I think I must have passed out. But when I came round, Danny was stood over my dad, covered in blood. I think he stabbed him.
Thank you, Stacey.
He was just doing it to protect me, you get that, right?
Interview terminated at 16:14.